We're having an Earth Day presentation that will focus on garbage and recycling, and we're just going to share some education points with our residents on how to save money using the bag tags and increase our recycling, extend the life of our landfill, all of that kind of good stuff. I am Tammy Ivy. I'm Director of Operations for the Township Subscribers. So we'll get right into our presentation here. So thank you all for coming. Just a little recap of what we're going to talk about tonight. So we'll talk about the curbside waste collection and the changes that are coming in regards to that, so bag tags. We'll talk about non-residential waste collection, and then we'll have a little demonstration, a little question and answer period, and then we'll move into recycling. So the new recycling legislation we'll talk about, curbside recycling, the recycling depot at the landfill, we'll talk about that, and how and what to recycle. And you can see that we have some hands-on stuff that we can practice with and figure out what we can do. And then we'll have some questions again with a little demonstration, and then we'll talk about the programs that we have from year to year and what that schedule is going to look like. Okay? So our landfill, there's no change to that, so it's just a refresh. So the Terrace Bay landfill has summer hours and winter hours. So those are the hours, and I'm sure all of you are very familiar with those. So with the new system, once we get into the bag tags, some of you may ask if you can still bring your own garbage to the landfill. The quick and short answer is yes, you can. In fact, that's probably your cheapest option if you wanted to pinch pennies. So you can still go to the landfill during the landfill hours and still use the punch cards that the Terrace Bay generates. So you get 6 punches for $12, 12 punches for $24, and 25 punches for $50, and that's all broken down on your punch card on how much garbage you get for that $24 and 12 punches. Okay? So that option is still available to you. So curbside waste pickup. That's generally what you see around Scriber. Bags in a pile with a blanket over it. So we're going to talk about that. We encourage you to use garbage cans. Garbage cans, 1, keeps the wildlife away. 2, it's going to be cheaper for you to throw garbage using a garbage can than it is loose bags. And we'll talk about that. The rule of thumb is to have your garbage out at the curb by 7 o'clock in the morning and not the night before, because we live in Scriber and we have lovely little critters that like to come and eat our garbage. So that's a lot of why we're going to the garbage can. So these cans are available at Sabrarios. This one here is $45.99, and that one is $23.99. So while we're here, let's just talk about it then. So here's your garbage bags. Not forward this. So that's what your new garbage bag tag is going to look like. They're $2.50 a bag tag. You can get them at the municipal complex. We are still talking to businesses. We haven't really come up with a plan on whether or not they're going to be available at other businesses around town. But for sure, you can get them at the municipal complex. So if you had these 3 bags at your curb, you would have to have a bag tag on every bag. So that's $2.50 times 3. But if you take these same bags and put them in a garbage can, because you can stuff as much as you can in there, and that is $2.50. 1 can is $2.50. Put your bag tag on the top bag, and that's $2.50. So you just saved your money right there by putting it in a garbage can.
Put the stuff in too hard, the boys are getting pretty pissed. Taking that garbage can.
The only criteria, you can stuff as much as you can in there, but it cannot be heavier than 40 pounds, 18 kilograms. Okay?
And I maybe want to mention to seniors. Someone said to me, I don't have green garbage bags. I have white bags that I take out. I have smaller bags in my house. Same idea. You can put your white kitchen catches in here, fill it to the top, put one bag tag on top, and that's for the whole can.
And 40 pounds is for the whole can,
For the whole can.
Correct.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe, right? So whatever you can fit in a can is $2.50 rather than putting out loose bags, or even taking your kitchen catches and putting them into the free garbage bags.
You say the tag goes on top of the lid or on top of the?
On top of the very top bag.
Top bag. So when they open up, they have.
They see the tag, yeah. Yeah.
That's a good job, but I'm not sure we have.
So just a quick story, in my past life, in another municipality, we had a resident call up the township and say, they are never picking up my garbage. And we said, well, have you got a non-compliance form with your garbage? Well, he says it's over 40 pounds. It's not, it's only one bag. So we went over to see what was going on with this resident, because it was a consistent complaint. He didn't want his garbage can to blow away in the wind, so he poured cement in the bottom of the can. That won't work. So don't do that. So having said that, if you get one of these left, it'll be a full sheet of paper, but it'll be on red paper. If you see one of these on the top of your garbage can and your garbage is still there, it's because you've done something wrong. So this is just going to tell you, we'll check off which one applies. So if it's overweight, we'll check that one off. If you didn't put a bag tag, we'll check that one off. So it's just a little communication piece to try and help you figure out why your garbage wasn't taken that day.
And it's gonna go on the garbage, or the.
Inside the lid, yep,
Okay.
yeah.
Wouldn't that make it a lot longer for the guys to go around collecting garbage?
Not if you do it right.
Yeah, but if they have to check everything, like, let's say it's 38, 39 pounds, and they're spending 2-3 minutes weighing it.
No, they're not weighing it. They will not be weighing your can at the road. If they cannot pick up your can, it's more than 40 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be very obvious. So if there's no bag tag, if it's way too heavy for them to lift, you'll have one of these sheets of paper just in the top of your garbage can to let you know why. Okay?
So if you
Yep.
don't have to take our white garbage bag and put them in the green garbage bag?
Nope.
We just put the, okay.
Yeah, you can take your little white garbage bags and just fill up your can with those. And as long as the top bag has a bag tag on it, you're golden.
Thank you.
Okay.
How many non-compliance are you allowed before you get 50?
How many non-compliance before you have to take your own garbage to the landfill? So for non-residential waste collection, oh, sorry.
Are you saying that then they don't, like, recently, they just, like in my garbage can, there's these things that come down, and they just lift the lid up, throw it on the ground, and then they just yank the bag out and put it into
Yep,
the can thing. So they're not doing that anymore? They're gonna lift the whole can?
that's up to them. I'm not gonna tell them how to do their job. But I will tell you that from a health and safety perspective, I would like them not to touch your bag of garbage. You may have sharps in there, you may have some glass in there. We don't want them cutting their leg, we don't want them cutting their hand. Theoretically, they should be dumping the can, but I'm not gonna tell them how to do their job. Okay, and you can always reach me in the office, either leave a message or my email, and all that contact information is on our town website. Okay? Sorry, thank you for that. So, non-residential collection. So we didn't know originally how exactly we were going to charge businesses for the garbage to make it fair for them. So because it could potentially be very expensive depending on which way, if we made a one size fits all, it doesn't fit all businesses. So we had to figure out a system that was going to be fair for all businesses. but they still had to pay their share for the garbage. So we've had public meetings for commercial sector, and we were looking for new ideas. Turns out the ideas that we came up with were really the only ideas that people were okay with. So you have three options as a business owner. You can, if you don't have a whole lot of garbage, follow the bag tag system like all the residents do. So someplace like an office, a bank maybe, or insurance, they're not gonna have a whole lot of garbage, as opposed to a restaurant that may have a lot of waste. So we had to kind of make some options so that it was going to be fair for everyone. So option one, you can use the pay-as-you-throw, the bag tag system. Option two will be timed pickups. So if you have type B container, which is a homemade plywood box, you put all your garbage in there. It still has to be in bags in there, but I'm not gonna ask you to put bag tags on every bag in that container. You're gonna fall into option two, where you'll be charged based on the amount of time that we take to pick it up. My prediction is that not very many, if any, businesses in town will be over the group A, 5 minutes to pick you up. So someplace that might fall into group D, 15 to 20 minutes, might be the mill, where they have a great big shed of garbage, and we're just in there loading the garbage truck. That would be that kind of scenario. Option three is to take your own garbage to the landfill, because that's still the cheaper option for you to do.
How do we compare to Tier B with option two? Similar?
Same, yeah. Marathon same, Fair Space same, Red Rock same, yeah. So, sorry. We will be sending out letters and forms to all the businesses in town, probably May, first week of May, I'm thinking. And then you'll have to fill out that form if you're a business owner to tell us what option you pick for your business. So that has to be done by June 1st. And again, I'm always available to discuss that. There's my phone number and email at the bottom of the slide. So commercial curbside collection, the only thing that we really heard from businesses is that if I'm a restaurant and I'm throwing out a lot of waste, I don't want my garbage sitting there for a week. It's definitely going to call in the bears. So we've added a second collection day for commercial. So all of our curbside residential garbage will be collected on Tuesdays, as it is now. And then we've added a second day Friday for commercial pickup only. So if you're in that timed group option, you will have a second visit on Friday. Okay?
But Tammy, will it cost them $26 on Tuesday and on Friday?
Every time we pick up. Yeah.
Scotty, when do we start the bag tags?
We'll get into that. July 1st is going to be the day that we implement the bag tags, and it's going to go hand in hand with the recycling, because legislation is changing for the recycling. So we're going hand in hand with that. Once you implement the bag tags coupled with the new recycling program, it's another opportunity to save money. Okay?
Those pricey, very pricey.
Bag tags?
Yeah, for the business,
The
like they
business,
pay
yes.
enough taxes.
5 minutes, 26 bucks.
I think that's a terrible.
We agree. The cost of garbage collection has really gone up. Like, the township has had no choice. We've had to get creative. So recycling. As of July 1st, 2024, the township of Stryver will be transitioning to the new legislation. So in 2021, the Ontario government passed a new regulation that shifts the financial and operational responsibilities from blue box recycling programs to producers. That means the manufacturers that create the box for the Kleenex, that create the can for the food, they now have to be responsible for recycling this item. So in the past, townships were on a shared cost sharing program, and we would have to pay a portion of the recycling. So the recycling up to this point, the township has had to pay to recycle for you. Under this new program, it is the producer responsible that will take the reins on the financial aspect and the collection of it. In this new extended producer responsibility framework, producers will become fully responsible for collecting and recycling the blue box materials. They're transitioning over these few years from 21, 22, 23, and 24, I missed a year, from 23 to 25. They're transitioning all municipalities across the province to this new program. January 2026, that's when full legislation comes into effect. So our transition date is July 1st. That means probably GFL from Thunder Bay, I don't know who the contractor is, but I mean, there's not a whole lot of options around here. Chances are it'll be GFL from Thunder Bay. They'll come to Scriber, do our curbside collection, and take it back to Thunder Bay and process it. Won't cost us any more money.
Tuesdays or weeks?
Pardon?
Tuesdays or
It will be, as we transition, we are gonna stay status quo. So right now, we have our curbside collection for recycling the last Thursday of every month, correct? Last Thursday of every month. So until the full legislation comes into play, we're gonna stay status quo. So whatever we were recycling stays the same. What day we collect stays the same. Until 2026, then there's gonna be possibility of changes come down the line. So under the new legislation, the minimum will be every 2 weeks. So starting in 2026, chances are we'll have our recycling collected every 2 weeks. There'll be possibilities of increasing the streams. That means maybe we'll be able to recycle glass. They'll add more materials that we can recycle. So it's only gonna get better at no cost to the township or its residents.
So Tammy, I don't know if you can answer this or not. So right now, the way the recycling program works, if I'm wrong, I'm not sure who pays it, but every time whoever it is shows up at the dump, grabs the sea can, the taxpayers, subscriber materials pay every time that sea can goes down the highway.
100%.
So when the new program goes on, are we still on there, if that was 50 grand a year for argument's sake, are we still on the hook for 50 grand or no, it's totally free?
So let me carry on,
Okay, sorry.
because you are absolutely right. At this point, whatever our guys were collecting from your driveway, we were bringing to the landfill depot. Then between Terrace Bay and Scriber, we share the cost of having that shipped down the highway and processed. We're still gonna have a convenience depot at the landfill. So businesses, because Ontario legislation has not included businesses in recycling. So curbside will not happen for businesses. But you can still take your recycling to the landfill depot. They're now calling it a convenience depot at the landfill. So residents, businesses, we can all take our recycling to the landfill ourselves. Out of that, the government has mandated, so here's where we are right now. The standard is 25%. So 25% of the cost to haul the depot down the highway, we're still on the hook to pay for, because that's non-eligible sources, assuming coming from businesses. So we have been negotiating with circular material, and we are hoping, trying to drop that percent so that as residents, we'll be paying less. It's been a lot of work, but if we can prove that we have more residences than businesses in town, then maybe we can get away from that 25% standard rate. So does that answer your question?
Is that 25% split with Terrace Bay?
Yep, yes, that will still be split. So we talked about this last Thursday of every month, and then starting in 2026, we can look to having it picked up more often. Now, if we recycle to our fullest ability, that's less going into your garbage cans. That means it's less to throw your garbage away. Recycling is not going to cost you or the township any money. Taxes or cash up front, doesn't matter. That's under the new legislation. The producer is responsible for paying for all of our recycling coming from residents. So take advantage of it, and we'll talk about that. So we recognize that storing your recycling is going to be a challenge because we have to stay with the status quo that we've been recycling since 2018. That was the cutoff date. We have to store our recycling for a month. So we only pick up recycling once a month. That means that you have to find space in your home to store it for the month. Keep in mind, that's going to be short term because starting in 2026, we'll step that up to twice a month. Every 2 weeks, they'll come and pick it up. Okay? So the other thing you need to remember, if you don't recycle correctly, GFL is not going to pick it up. That means that if it stays in your driveway, now you're on the hook to put your 250 bag tag on it to get it to the landfill. So it'll be a benefit to you to do it correctly. And we're going to put out a lot of promo and information to help you know what to recycle and how to recycle it all. That's the other layer of the new legislation that's coming out, is that circular material is responsible for educating and promoting recycling. So they'll help a lot with that cost as well. So chances are you'll see more material coming through your mailboxes.
More recycling.
Trade.
Yeah, and make sure that you're paying a little extra cost, make sure that it goes to every mailbox, because we have no junk mail, you never get anything.
Oh, our mail is not junk.
And also, when you're talking about saving costs because of recycling, when Scriber Terrace Bay brought in recycling, we went over, we got the little bins at home, we recycle all the time, we collect it, and our garbage went down 2/3.
Well, Terrace Bay told us that prior to the recycling, they used to empty their truck twice during their collection day. Now they only fill it half full. Further to that, the lifespan to our landfill is decreasing quickly. We have a recent report, 13 years.
April 15th, the KGS reported 13 years.
So that's not a lot.
Are you gonna put something out saying like what's the right way and wrong way here?
Yep, we are going to talk about that with all my props up here.
Okay.
But yes, we're gonna also send tons of stuff out.
Yeah. So here's that piece that we were talking about, that you can still go to the convenience depot, drop your, the landfill is so close to us, and we're so fortunate that we live in a small community that, personally, if my recycling started stinking, I'd take a 5-minute drive and get rid of it. But, it's an option for you.
Rinse it out, they won't stay.
Pardon?
Rinse it out, they won't stay.
That's right, we're going to talk about that too. So here's where we will talk about what we can and cannot recycle. So first of all, we do not have blue boxes at our curb. But in 2026, there's a possibility that we'll get blue boxes at our curb when full legislation comes in. Pardon?
Will we be paying for that?
I don't know any of those details yet, but if I read the legislation, it's supposed to be no cost to residents. So I believe that circular material would be paid, but I could be wrong.
Can you ask for twice the size?
These are actually residential pails.
I don't know, I can fill that up pretty quick.
I know,
Yeah.
it's actually bigger with a lid.
Yeah, there's recycling bins this size, but it depends on, it's possible if we do a really good job at recycling and the quantity is there, it's possible that GFL would come with the big truck that kind of hooks into your can and just dumps it automatically. So I mean, there's possibilities. Just while we're doing the transition years, it's status quo. So whatever we were doing in the past, that's all we get until 2026.
I mean,
Yeah.
does any legislation include anything for green bags for like compostable material?
I haven't seen anything in there about that.
I have a question. We're supposed to be cutting back on plastic, right? Plastic bags especially, so why do we have to put everything into plastic bags?
Because that's what we've been doing so far. So again, for the transition years, it's status quo. Once we get to the full legislation, then that's why I'm saying that we probably will end up with some recycling boxes for our curb at that point.
Even in Toronto, they put them in bags inside the recycling.
Yeah. I'm not sure, I don't know what the plant does once the recycling gets to the recycling plant. I'm not sure what they do there, but that's been our instruction, is that it doesn't matter what color the bag is, provided that it's transparent. And so Anne Marie bought a no-name of clear bags for how much did you say?
$4.99 for that box.
And there's 40 bags in here.
Probably waiting till they went on sale.
Well, because, I mean, here's the thing, I also bought this for my house, right? That's $40. But these Severians are selling for $17. I mean, this is fancy, this is nice. But you can tape a plastic bag to your wall and put recycling in there. Like, it doesn't have to be this fancy, we just wanted to kind of show you what we got. And I've actually seen a step-on canister with 2 blue boxes about this tall, $69.99. I didn't want to buy it.
Well, that's an extra $70.
So, but you can be fancy, you can be just a plastic bag.
See-through bag.
And I put plastic bag in, I mean, but it can be just any garbage can too, right?
Yeah.
Once you have a plastic bag in there and then it's fast to take it out.
That's what I do, a big bag in the garbage can.
Right.
Now, to Sue's question about, the yard waste and stuff like that, I seen Tara's Day off their Facebook page, they're advertising that you can bring clean yard waste for free to the dump, to the landfill, and $100 for a clean fridge, or not, non-clean. Is Trevor following suit with that too, or?
It is terrace-based landfill, so whatever rules that they have, we tend to follow. So it's interesting because I had another gentleman ask me that question about the yard waste, and I didn't know. But going on their website, that's exactly what it says.
Can't have garbage in it. So,
Yeah.
but to my point is, people that burn firewood, and they chop all their firewood up and they got the fire
All that bark can be taken to the landfill.
for free. For free.
That's
You
my
don't-
understanding.
you don't dump it.
That's my understanding. Yeah, yeah. So we will talk now about what you can recycle. So here's the list of what you currently have been recycling, and this is the same thing, the same list that will carry us through to 2026 when the full legislation comes into play. So your cans, your aluminum cans, and because doesn't matter that you're holding it for a month, we still want you to rinse it out. So when you're recycling, make sure it's clean. And I'm not saying throw it in your dishwasher and clean it like your dishes, just a quick rinse or paper towel, just take the bulk of it out. The other thing that has to happen is this label has to come off. So no labels and a clean can. And that can go into your recycling.
We don't even make these rules, man, that's the way it is.
Some of those labels are damn hard to get off.
Pardon?
Some of the labels are very hard to get off.
Yeah.
We get paid?
Yeah, well, yes, you do, because you're not paying to put it in here.
Sorry.
So yeah, the paper can be hard to take off, but do your best. I mean, if it's not completely 100% taken off, they're not gonna leave it in your driveway.
They must steam it anyway.
I would think so. Again, I don't know the process. So aluminum foil. So when you talk about aluminum, we have a couple things here that could be aluminum. So your foil bag that your coffee pods come in, that can be recycled as aluminum. Some chip bags are foil, a light foil, some are plastic. Figure out the difference. Because the foil will look like foil inside. So again, that's all gonna go in the same can as your cans. So all of this list goes in the same bag. So then you have your gable tops, which is your milk. Again, rinse it out. If you want to save space in your recycling bin, collapse it. Or you can leave it this way, it depends on how invested you want to be, or how much room you have to store it. The other plastic, so once you get into plastics, what we're looking for is those symbols. So there's 1 through 7. If it has that symbol on it, it can be recycled. If it does not have that symbol on it, it's garbage. So for example, Anne Marie and I were debating about coffee pods that go into Keurigs. Well, if you look at the bottom, right in the middle, is one of those symbols. So guess what? There it is.
Tammy, question. I've been separating my metal and my plastic for 4 years. I can throw it all in the same bag?
You can.
Even the,
Wouldn't that make it harder for the sorters?
If you have enough to fill a bag of just cans,
Why do that? Like, I'll save it for 2 months. I keep it in my garbage can.
then keep doing it.
It's better that way?
Yeah.
We got more questions now, Ted. People are gonna get excited.
okay, you have the coffee pods, inside you have the tin foil on the top, you have the plastic, but you have your mesh for the coffees in. Do you have to take that out, or can I throw that right in with the?
With the, I know which one, it's the no-name ones.
It's from, I get it from Costco, and they have the insert, where it's material, like it's the filter.
Right. That's, what do you call it? Organic.
Right.
So it'll go in your composting pile.
Peel that off, which is really, really hard.
That's
Because I've been trying to do
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
It's like literally
So that would either be garbage or you take it apart and compost.
take it apart.
Yeah.
So the normal one you put in there, should we not empty those?
You can, you should, but the plastic is what's recyclable,
Okay.
not necessarily what's inside. So your foil can stay, because that's a foil lid, but the garbage, the coffee grains should get dumped out.
Put them in your composter.
There you go, yep.
Or you could buy reusable things and then you don't even have to worry about
Get away from here.
recycling.
One of those little blade things that you plug into, so plug in on the wall, that actually has a symbol on the bottom of it as well.
Isn't that glass?
Nope, this one is plastic, and it has a symbol on it.
No, you have to take it out, wick on it. I'm going to guess so. I would think so.
Don't worry about it. Forget about it.
So this one's really clear, that you can see the symbol, it's nice and big. Some of them you actually need a magnifying glass to find it, but again, that's recyclable. Pop cans, that will attract bears really quick, because as we all know, pop is really sweet. So give it a rinse, rinse it out, let it dry a little bit, and then that's recyclable as well. Goes in with your cans.
And you take the tabs off and you give them to
Yes.
Jason Nesbitt for the Shrine Club.
There you go. Give them the tab.
Actually, they want the whole can, but I'm not all of the can, but I'll can. I should like, you usually go remind her every 6 months.
So here's the juice boxes. What part of this is not going to be recyclable? The straw and that's garbage. So just the carton will be recyclable. Now, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. They used to say that pop bottles, water bottles should all have the lids removed. During my training for this, they have asked for the lids to stay on.
Yeah, Mary said that.
So you can leave the lids on now. Yeah. So this was breadcrumbs. Again, on the bottom, you'll see the little symbol that makes that recyclable. And for a little label like that, don't get too invested. That's fine.
I find there's some, the bottom is how to recycle that, but the top's not.
If the bottom has the symbol, with the new marketing now, they tend to make the lid match. And I think that that's why they've allowed the caps on the water bottles now. So of course, margarine containers, there's your symbol right there. You throw them out? Is mom in the crowd? No? You're right, she's got to stack this tall. So is this recyclable?
No.
Right there is your little symbol.
I usually forget them.
So take a look at all of your plastic, if it has that symbol, in the bin. We have a plastic dish, looks like a Tupperware, or I'm not sure if it came from, but there is the symbol right there. Very small, but it goes in the bin.
That's so, Mosley's microwave dinner.
Oh, right, microwave dinner. So again, here's a Miracle Whip. The only thing that we need to do to this, it's been cleaned already. Just remove the label and it's ready for recycling. So let's talk about cardboard. Anything like this, I mean, if it were me, I'd flatten it before I put it in my bin, take up less space. But anything small like this can be recycled. Any cardboard, newspaper, this just came from the restaurant tonight, and they had a paper liner in there. I can recycle it.
And even though it's got that waxy kind of coating, and so.
You can recycle it. Yeah.
That goes in your cans, not in your paper.
That goes in with the paper and cardboard, and we'll talk about the larger cardboard.
Cookies that you get in plastic and the wrapper on the plastic,
Does it have a symbol on it?
but the thing inside does.
If the thing inside does, that's recyclable. If the outside wrapper doesn't have a symbol on it, garbage.
Why are you buying cookies?
Why are you buying cookies? So guess who's making cookies for the next senior coffee morning, eh? So here's some more examples of cardboard. It's your Kleenex box.
We have to remove the plastic.
I was just gonna say that.
Some are eating some of ours.
That's what we do at Nays. When you don't live in a municipality, you can burn. So be careful with your egg cartons. Some of them are foam, not recyclable. Some of them are cardboard, recyclable. Okay? Any questions on that?
Yeah.
How much revenue is generated if you say 1 ton of cardboard, 1 ton of tin, 1 ton of plastic?
I cannot tell you that. I have no idea.
Or I put it in.
Really?
You might be able to Google it.
We're cashing in.
Google has all kinds of information. So if you have large cardboard, such as this, breaking it apart and stuffing it in here does not work.
But if you can get a big box and stuff it with cardboard, close the box, is that okay?
Nope.
You tell the old lady,
Because on the truck, some of the cardboard stuffed into a box like this will fall out when you go to lift it. Some of it may not fit in the compartment in the truck, depends on how they load it. So they have asked for all cardboard to be collapsed and stacked and just get some twine and tie it together.
Take the tape off.
You don't need me teaching you how to do this. You're right. You're right. At Nays it all burns. You are right. The tape does have to come off. Okay? Any questions on that?
Most cardboards, they're glamour, you know, on the outside. Most of it is plastic, is it not?
The shiny, yeah. To my knowledge, it's still recyclable. Yeah, boxboard, waxed, cardboard, it's all recyclable.
They give us size for you to.
Yes,
Be that size?
it needs to be in the neighborhood. So like we're saying 2 feet by 3 feet, it probably should not be 6 feet by 8 feet. Like it just needs to be in the neighborhood. I mean, we haven't really started with these guys, so I can't say how picky they're going to be, but these are the guidelines that they've given us. I doubt very much that the collection guy's going to be up the curb with his measuring tape, but just as long as we get it in the neighborhood. And they put a note on here that if you're throwing your pizza boxes out, just make sure they're clean.
No pizza left.
Just a paper towel even, just to wipe out the excess.
Excuse me? Before we've been recycling for a while, but before when we had to separate into different bags, is that still, or everything goes in the same bag now?
I would think that it's coming, that they'll be pickier about more containers as we introduce new streams. But for right now, everything on this slide goes into one bag or in a bundle. Everything on this slide goes into one can. Now, if you have a lot of cans, by all means, go ahead and separate them. Nobody's going to tell you you're doing it wrong. But if you don't have a whole lot of recycling material, it can go all in one bag. Again, it depends on how much space you have in your house to have this many bags lined up, right?
So actually, anything with 1 to 7.
Yeah, yeah. They tell me that there's only 1 to 7. I thought there was more numbers, but that's the limit. That's all there is. So anything with that symbol on it can be recycled.
So this will be province-wide, not just on seven.
Province-wide.
My friend, Tuesday breeze that on down there a couple weekends. They're saying, come back and talk to seven, they're like, oh yeah, just put everything in. They only collect up to 4 of the Tuesday breeze now, but they will be moving.
They're going to be part of this. I don't know when they're on the transition list. We had to lobby the government to get us on the transition list so that we could transition with Terrace Bay, because they were transitioning without us. So we worked hard to make sure that we were on the same schedule as they were. So here is what you cannot recycle. So aerosol cans, that would be a hazardous waste. Glass. Good possibility in 2026, glass will be one of the streams introduced, but right now, no. Plastic bags, your garbage bags or shopping bags, no. Doesn't have a symbol on it. Plastics that don't have that symbol on it, no. Straws, we talked about that. Styrofoam, and of course the Tupperware, but not the margarine containers. Yes.
Like if you got the Ziploc containers or the Glad containers, they're actually advised. Are those okay?
That's okay, yeah. I think Tupperware is the actual like brand name Tupperware where it's, you know, a heavier plastic.
I know when I break one, I just put it in the recycling.
Yeah. Okay, so we've kind of been demonstrating as we go. Does anybody have any questions on the recycling?
I have one question, and for plastic bags, like, you know, like lettuce bags, all the stuff that you said, you're looking for the symbol. But we get a lot of produce and stuff now that coming from other countries and other places into Canada. Now, will they have to follow our guidelines for recycling, or is that just gonna be something we're just gonna end up tossing into the garbage?
It will be something in the interim that you'll put in the garbage. If it doesn't have a symbol, it goes in the garbage. But as the producers become responsible for that material, I do believe you're gonna see some changes coming down the line.
We get a lot of stuff that comes from other countries that.
Yeah.
Canada.
I think that you'll probably end up seeing less of the big boxes with one little item in there. I think they'll be more responsible with their packaging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So further to our recycling, we still are going to maintain the recycling programs that we have always had in place. So the spring cleanup this year is May 13th, and I was told that the May 13th is the most important day because it's our mayor's birthday. So remember that when you load the end of your driveway.
Taking all the monies.
Free to take. So May 13th, that week, and on the back of this flyer, it'll all go out in your mailboxes again, but on the back of the flyer, there are things that don't go in the spring cleanup. Any construction material, so if you're tearing down your house and you have your whole house sitting on the curb, we are not picking that up. If they've already been by your driveway, they're not coming back.
And that's May 13th only?
No, May 13th to May 20th. Now, the May 20th has me a little confused, but that's the date that Ryan from Terrace Bay gave me. So I will confirm that before these actually go out in the mail, but that's what he told me.
So what day will the township actually be picking it up?
That will be on your flyer, because they do sections of town, right?
Okay,
Yeah, that's not changing. The way they've always done it will continue to be the way.
okay.
Yeah.
So sure. So the south side of the subway, all materials can be placed out Sunday, May 14th. This is last year's, or no, this is this year's. Yeah. May 14th, be picked up on Monday and Tuesday. Crews will not backtrack. So on the north side of Subway and Walker's Lake pickup, all materials must be placed out by Tuesday, May 16th, to be picked up on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Crews will not backtrack. And we'll have the garbage truck assisting our public works again, like we've done in past years. So anything small, they'll go around and pick it up, but the stuff that has to go in the dump truck, the boys will do it. Okay? And then, of course, we have the electronic waste. Did I miss a slide? I think I have. Nope, I haven't. So they have the e-waste container at the landfill, and all your electronics can be brought to the landfill and recycled in that container. So things like speakers, old stereos, telephones, tuners, video players. Who still has a VHS player? I do too. So all of those things can be brought, anything electronic can be brought to the landfill. I think that's what they don't accept. But anyways, household hazardous waste. We were invited to take part in Terrace Bay's Hazardous Waste Day. So their Hazardous Waste Day is Friday, May 31st, and bring your hazardous waste to Terrace Bay at their info center parking lot, and we can participate in their day.
That's like what, paint and all
That is,
And
exactly, paint, antifreeze, oils,
that? Okay.
all of the things listed here, solvents, paint strippers, batteries, single-use batteries, rechargeable batteries. Now, we also, and I don't have the information here, Amanda might be able to help us on this one, but the township does have the battery recycling program. I'm not sure what it's called. Do you? But they just bring their batteries to town and it goes in a bag and in the box and we ship it away. So we can still recycle batteries that way. Batteries, that's just a reminder to talk about it. Oh, and that's the end of the show.
Okay, so Tammy has given you, there's flyers at the front, mayor and our treasurer sending them out. So you guys can pick up flyers about your hazardous waste. I just need to clarify something on the back of the spring residential cleanup. There's an information page. Sorry, Tammy, it's not your fault, it's mine. The bylaw number at the top says bylaw 26, 2020. Actually has been just updated. Dan's probably going, yeah. 24-2023, and it pertains specifically to item number 7. So right now, item number 7 says, no person shall permit the outdoor storage of more than one inoperative motor vehicle on private land that is zoned and used for a residential purpose. That bylaw was changed in 2024. Now the allowable number of vehicles you can store on your residential property that do not work is 0. And that was that was in, mayor and council made that shift, and that was in response to what we heard from the residents of Scriber, as far as it went to, the way the property standards are and how properties look. So that was our answer to that. So the next flyer will be changed, but that has actually been just recently changed. So you're not allowed to store inoperative vehicles on your property, residential at all. Okay, so that's to clean up some of the,
Our beautification campaign.
So the key word there is residential.
Yes.
Commercial people, piece of property that's looked out, right?
I can't do anything about that. Okay, sorry, John.
No worries. Any questions, comments? Well, sorry?
Are a bunch of paint containers that got a bit of paint in it. Are we allowed to take them to the landfill or just?
No.
No, okay.
They need to go to the hazardous waste tank.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. It's important that we protect our landfill and make it, try and stretch out its life, because let me tell you, the ministry is not handing out landfills. If this one's full, we're gonna have a hard time finding another one. Thank you all so much for coming. I see some people leaving already. Please feel free to stay and ask your questions, but thank you all for coming for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I just missed the memo. Where do you get bags at?
They will be at the municipal complex. You can go, and they will go on sale June 1st. I probably missed saying that. So June 1st, they will go on sale at the municipal complex.
But we don't need to use them until July 1st.
Correct.
Is Marathon an
Easy, go.
indication of
Pick up
getting
your-
landfill?
No, no.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's a pay-as-you-throw system now. Yes,
So, right now, the town is being charged for recycling until July 1st.
correct,
And then they don't have to pay that after July 1st.
correct.
By the increase in the
Okay, well,
garbage.
we actually are, we will be, see, what you're missing here is that there is no recycling option for businesses. So the businesses will still use the depot at the landfill. The town will split right now 25% of the cost of that, so there still will be a cost for us for that. So your question though is valid. So he's asking why the bag tags?
Yep.
So for a couple of reasons. Number one, it is to recoup some of the costs that the town's paying. So are we no longer going to have to pay full shot or our half full shot for recycling? No, we're going to be paying less. However, our contracting cost for picking up the garbage has increased. But I'll tell you what, to see the report from KGS that says that landfill only has 13 years left, more importantly, we have to find a way to throw less garbage. So if I'm charging you $2.50 for a bag tag, to force your hand to recycle more and get it out of the landfill, because the recycling that they're picking up is not going to Terrace Bay's landfill anymore, it's going to Thunder Bay. We have to find a way to save years on our landfill. It's going to be massively expensive. And we're working really tightly with Terrace Bay, they've been very good, but it's horrifying to know, honest to goodness, how expensive garbage is. It's crazy expensive.
Which amazes me that they say there's 13 years left.
Yep.
I mean, there's lots of room for that dozer to push. I mean, like the hole is the hole, and although I guess they're an engineer, so they must know what they're talking about.
They couldn't.
Yeah, it's all about compacting too, right?
Yeah. Be more bears than you.
Excuse me, but I'd like to make a comment. Where is it going to be? It's like, it's gonna be there, but they're found and whatever, and they're not here.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of them.
Hopefully through our promotion in education, we can still reach those young people because it's an important message. And I'm thankful that all of you came out tonight. We're really appreciative that you came out. This is all new, so we're happy to share the information and together we can make it work.
You would think that something as simple as garbage, picking it up and bringing it to landfill, I think that'd be pretty simple, but actually there's a lot of moving parts. Just picking it up, there's a lot of moving parts. Mechanically, you know, the vehicles that you need to pick it up and the maintenance and it all adds up and costs money. And tonight we were talking about a couple of things, and one was the increase of costs to the residents of the community because we're introducing bag tags. But saying that, there's more cost to the residents, but the reasoning behind that is because it's more expensive to deal with the garbage in the community, and it's just ongoing, and it's ever increasing, especially with inflation we've seen over the last couple of years. So we have to recapture that one way without raising taxes, and that's the way we're doing it with bag tags.
Yeah. And I think the other part of that meeting tonight was really important was, yes, we're instituting bag tags, but along with it, our administration has lobbied really hard to get to be part of this new recycling program. So along with the bag tags comes the whole recycle piece. And we spent quite a bit of time talking about that tonight. And it was good to see people asking so many questions, because the more that we can recycle, the less we'll throw away, the cheaper it'll be. And of course, the other side of that too is taking care of our asset, right? We use the landfill with Terrace Bay. They own it. We pay our portion of it, but that landfill hasn't got a forever life. So we've got to find a way to keep less garbage going to the landfill so that we can extend its life and not be forced to have a huge cost to fix that asset. So, but people seem really engaged.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the questions that we got, I mean, I was even educated. Some of the questions and then the answers that were provided was very educational for everyone.
Yeah. And the other side of it too is that the recycling program that we're currently running today is not efficient. We're paying for half of that inefficiency. But when those sea cans are full and there's no place else to put stuff, especially cardboard, once cardboard gets wet, it can't be recycled. So it's going into our landfill. It's not helpful. We need to be part of a recycling solution that's going to help this landfill and help people save money. And how do you change that thoughts? For seniors, it's really a matter of saying, we don't want to be charging you for 3 or 4 or 5 bags. We really want to be helping you to decrease your garbage so that you don't have to spend a lot of money. So some of the tips tonight were like about, I know a lot of seniors, especially people who are living on their own with the kitchen catcher type garbage, right? You can put several of those in a can, fill it right up, and just use one tag. It is surprising because it's about education. On Tuesday, last Tuesday and the Tuesday before, I took a ride around town. On my street alone, out of all the houses on my street, it's only 5 people put out cans. And it's a Scriber thing, right? Because we've always just put bags at the end of our driveway, and that will cost people extra. We don't want that. So we're hoping some of the solutions we talked about tonight will help to really change some minds.